What's up, world? Hold on. Communicating with our guest for today. I was eating before. So welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I tried my best to make this space look. I'm gonna make it clear for the last show of the year. But we're in December. And speaking of last show of the year, we have one more show before we exit the year. And this has been, last year I thought was trying, but last year was easy. I made a comfortable cocoon for myself in the midst of what we saw as the heaviest part of this pandemic, the beginnings of it. And I kind of made a rhythm for myself. This year was very difficult for me, one, because I am a person that tries to persevere and move beyond any struggle that I may be in or any, tough spot that I may be in. I make it look easy at times. I think I'm getting a little bit of gray hair. But this year has definitely been very trying, very much so a little overwhelming at times. And I'm really, I'm thankful for creativity. I'm thankful for friends. I'm thankful for family. I'm thankful for just the arts in general. I know last year I was really feeling it, beyond measure. And my twin, who is really my cousin, but we have the same birth date and day, came by on my birthday, and then my friend Sheena, she came by, and we did a drive to like here in Jersey and back, just to get out and just to see stuff. I did a mini vacation, but this year I really just was working and trying to recoup and get back and start fresh. And that was trying. It was almost felt like I was starting my business for the first time because I'm doing it in a different format. If you see, I'm in the midst of a art studio right now, and it's just been difficult, just to say the least. Not to complain, not to belabor the issue. I learned a lot about myself this year. Last year, I spent a lot of time with myself and I got to know myself, but I actually learned a lot about myself this year. Things that I don't like, I'm changing them. People I don't want to be around anymore, I'm letting it be known, and I'm making moves to remove them from my space and remove myself from theirs. I'm learning a lot about relationships and business and myself as an artist. I'm currently working on a project with Troy Burton. It's called You Thought I Was Him. Troy got a Ruby Arts grant to produce this sequel or second stage or next stage of a Real Nigga Show. And it's centered around men and male issues and perception and all those things, healing and growth and trauma and struggles. And it's really helping me to kind of identify who I am, Nathan in his 30s, and that's weird because I never refer to myself as Nathan. But and as I move into my 40s, actually, and surprisingly, I am almost 40, and I am kind of I'm trying to define what my 40s will be and how I want to jumpstart that. Unlike I did in my 30s, I just surrendered and let it happen. And I wanted to take a little bit more control into me going into my 40s. So as I gear up in preparation for that, I'm really going to spend my last year, my 30s, working on this project that is going to be self-identifying and almost I can say healing for me and many of the other men that I'm surrounded. Tomorrow will mark our first um, in a series of community conversations around men and identity and um, uh, just conversations that are jump-starting the topic matters that will be brought up in this new piece called You Thought I Was Him. So that's my current project. Um, and I'm working a lot on evolving the artist exchange. What does that encompass? All the different parts of it. So starting next year, you'll start to see the connection with a lot of the things that I do. The Bash Top Blue Jewelry will definitely be a brand and building that brand up. As I built the artist exchange up, I'm trying to uh, smooth out a lot of the edges and be real specific and clear and identifying in terms of my branding with the artist exchange. And I'm really developing more so that brand name for Best Shop Blue Jewelry. I'm excited about a lot of the challenges and a lot of the road that's ahead of me. I'm really proud of a lot of the people that are around me, people that I know, artists, business owners, and such. Um, and I'm looking forward to meeting more people. Um, you'll see in the last 2 years, so last year and this year, I started to kind of push my YouTube page. In 2022, you'll see that be more prominent as well. But I just wanted to just build some content to be able to put out there. One of those pieces will be um, the Binge-Worthy Podcast. Myself and George uh, Button will be working on that. And just figuring out who I am as an artist and what I want to be seen as is where I'm at right now. Basically, the branding and marketing of me as an artist and all the things that I touched and going through. A lot more classes and workshops you'll see from me. A lot more art. Um, I'll be working with the project You Thought I Was Him also and curating an art exhibit for not only the show but the to use as marketing for the show as well. So you'll see more of that, more activity from me. The last couple of years, even outside of the pandemic, I've been kind of quietly doing just my regular everyday, but you'll see more activity, more programming, more events from me in 2022 as we kind of close out, as we kind of get back to um, a norm, even though it's not anything close to a normal. But we're moving forward. I'm gonna be going out more as I'm getting more comfortable with people and around people. I'll be going out to more things. I've been going out a little bit doing smaller events. This Sunday I'll be at the Garage. It's a new venue space here in Baltimore, right off of Lafayette and Charles Street, um, right behind the Old Choices. I'll be doing a vending event, the Black Mall, uh, holiday shopping uh, exhibition. I'll be there with lots of my jewelry and uh, me, of course. So come on out It's 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Sunday. So come on out at the garage that's on Lafayette and Charles Street. You'll see there's a big white building right on the corner next to the gas station. So come out to that. There will be tons of businesses there, tons of things for you to buy, for you to see, for you to eat. And I'm really excited about what that looks like. For me, this is probably my last vending event for the year, and my first vending event in a long time, really getting myself out there and um, just getting ready. I have to say, a lot of the shows that I've done this year has been about stress and pressure and the business. And I have to admit, and I came to this realization a couple months ago after going to my grandmother's funeral. I don't owe anybody happy-go-lucky days. If I'm not feeling it, if I'm not in that space, I am comfortable being in my bag. And many of us try not to be in that space because we want to be seen as positive. But I'm positive. I'm a nice guy. I'm hardworking. I'm loving to everyone that crosses my path. But I have to learn how to feel. And just like Black women don't owe the world a sunny disposition, don't owe the world a smile, don't owe the world a pretty face. I don't, as a Black man, I don't feel like I owe you strength 24/7. And I had to learn how to live in my feelings, and feel something. I had allowed myself to grow into this shell of a person that did not show emotions, did not, other than anger and frustration. And I did not allow myself to really explore all of the many feelings or facets or faces of myself because I wanted other people to feel good about themselves. So I would shrink in myself and dim my light and making other people comfortable. And those days are gone. I'm still going to be loving. I'm still going to be a loyal person. I'm still going to be a hardworking person for myself and everybody who wants to work for me. I'm going to continue to do those things, but I'm not going to put on a happy face because you're in a good mood or because you want me to match your energy or you want only good vibes. If that's what you have to go out there and get it. And it's not that I'm going to be depressed or sad at all times, but if I'm feeling that, I'm going to do my best to be manageable with it, but I'm not going to uh, alter myself or put on a mask uh, to make other people feel comfortable with themselves. That's not my responsibility to make you happy. It's not your responsibility to make me happy. But I won't make it worse for you, as I don't want you to make it worse for me. And support is definitely give and take. And I just want us to be in that space of just being comfortable with ourselves. And more so, I want to be more comfortable with me um, as we, as we, whew, as we kind of move in this space of um, kind of coming out of this pandemic. I've seen a lot of depression. I've seen a lot of anger. I've seen a lot of frustration. We can see that in the environment now. There have been a lot more killings and stabbings and robberies in this recent time, and more so than normally around the holidays. So we really have to begin to love on each other and not put expectations on each other that are one things that we aren't even achieving, but also um, things that stop putting expectations on people. Just point blank, period. It's not healthy. It's not. Uh, it's just not healthy, and I want us to just move past that and just get better with it and start doing things. I have a new program also that I'm helping a young man to facilitate, and it's every 2 weeks we do this live series. And the premise of it is identifying and becoming aware of our learning styles, but as it pertains to how we communicate with each other. Often, how I communicate may be different from your communication, hence the friction and the conflict that happens and the misunderstandings that happen. Because what you hear, meaning how you take in information, may be may not be complementary to how I give information or how I receive information. So it's this constant friction that we're having because a slight change in how we communicate will help us to better understand each other, and it will lead to less conflict in our pursuits of kind of happiness and love and all of that. And I'm really excited about working with him and just working with individuals that get it and get me and get how I work and how I create and aren't trying to fit me into a box that's comfortable and conducive to them shining. With the level of competition that I see amongst people is getting out of hand. And there's nothing wrong with healthy competition because we want each other to win. But when we want each other to win, it's healthy. And it's a thing of it's only room for one of us. And when we get to that level of competition, I want us to stop it. It's foolishness. We've allowed a system that was set up for people that look like me and you, people of color, a system that was set up for us to fail and not to achieve and not to grow and not to, learn and thrive. But a system that one wasn't meant for us. It was meant to keep us out. And we're trying to constantly be a part of it. And I've been having some conversations over the last couple of weeks with people who I just feel, we just tear each other apart with our messiness, how we talk about people, how we label things, how we and similar to how Oprah decided to turn her brand and her industry into more positive affirmation. And I'm not saying Oprah's perfect, but that is similar to how I'll be walking into this new element of, say, the Artist Exchange. My brand is Nate the artist. All of those things will be how I move forward. I no longer want the messiness. I no longer want the business, that mantra that is just business, it's all about business. I don't want that in my space. I don't want those types of individuals around me because you don't see the people around you as human. You don't see them having feelings. You don't see them having, emotions or just being human. You want supernatural abilities from people, but yet you're human. You want to be seen as human. So it's give and take for me. We have a special guest today, Mr. Sunny. He's been a guest on the show a number of times, and he's going to come on and talk a little bit about his transition and who he is and what he has coming up. Is that him on the screen?
Yeah, that's me. I'm still in traffic, but I'm doing my best to get to my space so I can talk to people better.
That's that New York metropolitan area.
Oh man, I wish I could flip the thing so I could show you how bad it is, man.
I've been. That's one of the things. That's one of the things that's keeping me from saying, let's just jump out there. Let's just because just getting from one borough to the next, not to mention crossing that bridge, getting to Jersey and Rhode Island, it's just
it's supposed to be a 22-minute drive.
Supposedly. Probably like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like 4 o'clock in the morning is 20 minutes, but not. But how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well, man. I'm doing really well. I can't complain. I'm actually doing a lot better than I was, for sure. You know, 2020 did do on everybody, but I'm doing really well.
I haven't seen you. Haven't been on a show in a long time. Last time I saw you.
No, it's been too long, man. It's been too long.
I think I had came to see you at a show at New York. And
yes,
I'm
did.
thankful.
Yes, you did.
I'm thankful for that because that was the first time me traveling like that on my own. And crazy enough, I'm 38 now, and I should have done that, but I'm used to traveling with people. But that was definitely a challenge. And I'll talk to you about.
I remember you telling me that. You said that was the first time you took a train that far, right?
And I said to my friend, I said I must really like these people because I don't take chances like this with my safety or just on my own like that. I just never took those types of challenges. But that was a challenge. It was a challenge, but it was a much needed challenge. But I wanted to definitely thank you for all the support and coming on the show all the time and sharing your story and sharing your art.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. I also, Sonny sent me a lot of his music, some of his new music.
Yes, I did.
And I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing just a new sound from him, a new perspective. Sonny is now an independent artist, doing it on his own. Just started his own music label. So we definitely talk a little bit about that. So first of all, just tell me, how has the last 2 years been for you in the midst of a pandemic?
Oh man, the pandemic when it first hit, man, I thought it was the end of the world. To be honest with you, man. I didn't think I was ever going to perform again, and that was like one of my first.
I think it was the end of the world as we knew it.
Yeah, as I knew it anyway. I'm like, I'm too young to go out like this. So like, I'm thankful though because
you live in that area where it was the worst, actually.
Exactly. So there was absolutely, when I say no work for musicians, I mean like no work for musicians. So it was bad, man. It was I mostly stayed in the house and practiced, tried to write songs and stuff like that. But I spent a lot of the time depressed. I didn't go into therapy afterwards, man.
Yeah,
because it just had me down, and I lost a lot of my confidence, and I wanted to. I wanted to be able to. I gained a lot of weight at the time, and that I had to lose. It was crazy, man. But
Sonny ain't get
2020 was tough, but I got through it in a way. Oh no, no, sir. I lost the weight now. I'm back down to 210. So thank God.
Okay. But I think a lot of artists.
Prior to that, I was like 279. I was like 279 last year.
Ooh, sir, you was eating a lot of home cooking, a lot of Uber Eats.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of artists went through that. I think a lot of us as artists went through that space of not knowing what to do, because typically when catastrophes happen, normally it's the artists that bring us out of it, and that happened also. But in the beginning, I think we all were on the same level. Everything stopped, especially for us. A lot of our stuff, the things that we knew to do and knew how to, survive with, and you being a touring artist, it stopped.
I had to readjust. Like I went from producing here and there to producing full time. I opened the studio throughout the pandemic, and January makes it a year that I've been in the studio. I recorded all the music that you heard today. I recorded it in that studio. I'm supposed to be. I was headed to the studio so I can make more professional when I did the background. But yeah, obviously the New Jersey traffic said no. But
I understand.
Other than that, man, it's been really good, man. Like I've been able to produce my own music. Like you said before, I'm an independent artist now. I'm looking to sign different artists, but obviously the first thing I did was sign myself. So trying to make sure that I become the face of my own brand, and then hopefully bring other artists in, so I can do the same thing for them. You know what I mean? So hopefully with the music that I have, it takes me to the next level. and take it to another level.
So what brought this? What brought this change? This change in independence.
Well, to be honest with you, like I always wanted to be in control of my own music. I never liked that the idea of somebody owning my music, especially me being a writer and me being a producer. Like I think it would be easier for artists that don't write their stuff or don't produce their stuff to give up that kind of thing. But for me, that intellectual property means a lot to me. So I always wanted to be able to be the master of my own. So like in this industry, the only way to be the master of your own is to own your own music. So like that's one thing that I wanted to do. I want to be able to own my own music. So now I'm able to release when I want to release. So I can take my time. I don't have to worry about somebody else's due dates. When I say something's ready, it's ready. When I say that, like, you know, this song is meant to be being put out right now, I can say it's being put out right now. I don't really have to answer to anybody here. It's really being your own boss, but at the same time, it's a different grind because obviously, like, you're footing basically everything. You're footing everything. Unless you got sponsorship or something like that, you're footing basically everything. You're paying for your band, you're paying for your travel, you're paying for everything else. You're paying for promotion, marketing. But at the end of the day, like, you get 100% profit. So that's the best thing to gain from it. And like I said, you own everything.
What have you learned about yourself going through this transition?
What I learned about myself the most was that, like, I wasn't sure, because of the pandemic, I wasn't really sure whether this was my real destiny. I was asking God. I was talking to God a lot. I was asking God, like, is this really my destiny? If it is, like, you know, you'll make a way for me. And surely He did, man. Like, he just kept making ways for me, in ways that I can't even, like, you know, imagine that He's made ways. And every time I thought that I wanted to stop or that I felt like I should stop, like he opened another door. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm still able to tour. I'm still able to play with Life Jennings as a guitarist. I'm still able to do all those things, but at the same time, I'm still able to be my own artist 100%, and that means a lot to me.
I'll say this: you sound more confident in your decisions. You sound more. You have the words to express how you feel and what you want, and I think that's a good sign in moving out on your own. We know transitioning from a 9 to 5 to being your own full-time artist is very hard, you know, because I work 9 to 5 on a 9 to 5, but I'm working 24 hours a day as an entrepreneur.
Right.
And that had to be, you know, were you ready for that change?
To be honest with you, like, when it comes to the 9 to 5 thing, I haven't actually worked a 9 to 5 since 2011. I've been working as a musician since 2011. Like, you know, I haven't looked back since. But in terms of, like, being an artist full time, that took me a little bit more time, because even to this day I still work as a musician. You know, and like if I still want to work with, like, for example, like, if I want to play with Ari Lennox, or if I want to play with Life Jennings on a studio record, I still do that kind of thing to make the extra money to fund my dream. You know what I'm saying? Because I can produce somebody else's record, and they pay me. That can help me fund my dream. I use my gifts to make room for what I'm doing right now. So basically, like, like I said, I never really had a 9 to 5 that's giving me more opportunity, more money, more capital than me being a musician. But it took a turn when I became an artist. When I became an artist, when I was paying for my own stuff, like paying for my band and paying for my own travel and things like that, that's when it became real to me. Because as a musician, everything's given to you. But when you become your own boss, you got to pay the cost. Like, as they say, you got to pay the cost to be the boss.
And I value that. That's you know, it's been interesting being able to see you work in various elements. I've seen you, you know, working, being a guitar player for Life Jennings on a tour, on a concert, but I've also seen you do your own concert series, and I've watched you in our various interviews and different spaces, and it's been interesting watching you grow in this time. What has been the biggest challenge for you?
In terms of what?
Just in terms, just the work or the transitioning or the growth of it all.
I think the biggest challenge for me was it took me a while to do this, but I had to be able to block out the naysayers, because, like, sometimes when you when you have a group of people or a group of people that you really highly consider your friends, and you're trying to become an artist, like they expect you to, they always expect you to sound like somebody, or they expect you to be like somebody, or to go about it the same way somebody else did, and that's not really the way that you're supposed to do when you're trying to be yourself. So what I learned about this is that, like, being yourself, like there's no value. There's nothing that you can put up that's more valuable than being yourself. So what I learned the most about like throughout this journey, the most difficult thing was being myself, because I tried so hard to be able to like please this person, or please that person, or please this person. Or let me write this song because I think this person's gonna like it. Let me write that song because I think this person's gonna sign me. And rather than me just doing it for myself, and me being able to write music that I like, me being able to write music that's challenging to me being able to write music that's actually something that I want to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of songs that I put out before that I never that I can say now that I honestly didn't necessarily like 100%. There's songs that I love. Obviously, every song that I wrote that I love, but obviously there's more songs that I love more than others, because if you would have asked me, like, I would say this song should be the front runner and that song should be the single. But that's not that wasn't really my my choice at the time. But now, being an independent artist, I can say I want this single to be the front runner of the album, so people can understand where I'm coming from when it comes to this album.
So you're learning to take charge in your career, because often I think with artists in general, especially when we get into management and we get into companies, producers, it's always their vision being funneled through you, and it's actually the other way. Without your content, it's nothing for them to market or brand or produce, and we lose sight of that, trying to make the money and be successful.
And I'm not anti-label either. That's one thing I want to make that very clear. I'm not anti-label. I'm not anti-management. I'm not anti any of those things. I just want whoever would manage me, or whoever would sign me, or whoever I would do a partnership with, to understand like the entity that I am as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a producer and I'm also an artist. So that means that like you can't tell me that you're gonna sign me to a recording deal and then charge me for recording costs when I record myself. So obviously we gotta speak in a kind of different way. We gotta negotiate a different kind of deal, because I'm not your typical artist.
Well, you said it. It's more of a partnership, and many artists are just looking for that upfront money and that fast, quick success, and
it goes fast.
Right, and it costs you. It costs you your time, your content, your freedom often, and knowing that going into the game, I think, and you still being so young in this, in terms of the time you've been full time at it, it's great that you're learning these lessons now versus we hearing about you at a behind the scenes story or something where you lost it all. Right, where you just, it's upsetting to me that an MC Light, after 30 some years in a business, currently now owns her name. It was a story about her just getting the rights, full rights to her name. And we hear that in many artists right now. We heard that with Prince. We heard that with, what's her name? Anita Baker just getting the rights to her. Like, it's crazy that these uber talented people who do all the things for themselves are now, starting to be able to get the rights to their music and learning what those technicalities means. In terms of the business of what you're doing, how have you stepped that part of it up as well?
Well, in terms of the business, like I always wanted to monetize everything that I did. So like when it comes to production and me recording other artists and all that stuff, I put that all under my LLC. Like, so now all that stuff is under Sunday DeMarseille LLC. If I want to sign an artist, if I want to do anything in terms of that, like all that will go under my LLC. I'm able to pay people through my LLC. I'm able to so that way, like if anybody wanted to sue me, for God forbid, like it wouldn't reflect me, it would reflect my company.
Business.
Exactly. So business wise, it helped me a lot. Like I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of research on, Donald Passman has a book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry. I've been really studying that like it's my LSATs. Like I've been going back and forth, like, on whether I wanted to be signed or whether I didn't want to be signed, the pros and cons on things like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like business wise, like I understand the business that I'm in, so I feel like me knowing the business is the best thing that I could possibly do, because at this point, like, you know what I mean, like, especially with the way the business is changing in terms of like streaming and all that stuff, it's not, you can't go to a record store and go buy a record anymore. Everything's changed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody listens to music through their phone. So like I want to be able to live with the times and be an artist of the times and be able to always adjust and be able to like be an artist that you recognize no matter what song it is. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. And that's the joy that I get out of being independent, because I'm able to be in control of that. Other people, some people might be like, "Oh, it's not your time yet." They'll sit you down, they'll shove you for 3 years. I don't really have to go through that. I'm able to grow with my audience, right? Rather than, you know, people telling me like, "Oh yeah, now it's time," and then, you know, and I kind of missed the shot that I felt like I should have had. You know,
what has been your biggest lesson?
My biggest lesson, I think in this industry, you just got to be watchful, man. You got to be really smart. You got to be smarter than the people that's trying to, you know, I'm not gonna cuss, but like smarter than the people that's trying to like screw you over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you don't know the industry well enough, like it's very easy for you to sign a contract that literally signs your life away. That's what I remember Dave Chappelle was saying that when he said that when he first signed his contract with the Chappelle Show, he was about 28 or 29, and he just had a new baby and he had a new kid, and he really didn't know any better. But he signed his life away and all that perpetuity, and he really didn't know what all that stuff meant. You know what I mean? So like me being the age that I am, and me going into the industry that I'm going into, me knowing what this means kind of gives me a help. That's why I love people like Dave Chappelle that's making things like this vocal, like own your things, own the things that you create. Because Chappelle Show wasn't his creation, and he didn't own it for years. You know what I mean? He's just now owning it. He's just now profiting off of it. So imagine if I could be an artist that can profit off of this thing from day one, rather than having to wait 20 years for me to profit. You know? So like,
but someone actually owns your name and your
and my likeness.
That's scary.
Not just a name, your likeness too. That means if they want to put your face on a poster or your face on a bag of chips, they can do it because they own your likeness.
Mm-hmm. We hear a lot of artists signing their legacy over in that way, and maybe because it's a financial gain for them. But are you kind of lining yourself up where you never have to make that choice, or you know, or how are you kind of keeping yourself from having to sell it all just to stay afloat?
That's a good question, Nate. I would say like the best thing for me personally would be for me like to show people rather than tell them, like that. That's why I want to be able to put out this EP and have people be the judge of the way I do music, and be able to, like, you know, kind of not flood them with too much music, but show them that I'm a music maker, and then kind of like give them the opportunity to, you know, get to know me as an artist, you know.
And I get that. I really respect that. Who are you? Who is Sonny today?
Sonny today is just a growing man that's getting my pen stronger, getting my production better, and I just arrived at the studio. Get my production better and getting and just a man that's striving to grow like inside and out. I don't want to be the same person that I was yesterday, and I want to be better than I was, you know, every single day. I want to be the best version of myself. So the Sonny today is just a man that's growing. That's it. Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing, and that's the consistency that I've seen in you, just wanting so much, but also being willing to work for it and actually working for it. And that's Absolutely. Not something with young artists today. A lot of them are just, they want things handed to them, and they want things so quick that they haven't taken the time to prepare for the things that they want in life and what it was going to take to get to that point. Are you ready for this new stage, or how ready are you for this new stage? I know you're living in it, but how ready are you?
I've been preparing mentally for this stage for like I have to say this whole year. Like this year has been a battleground and a testing ground, and like a lot of the things that you were saying before, because I was listening to the whole thing, but a lot of things that you were saying before, like when it comes to like, you know, friendships and different things like that, like, you know, you gotta. I had to draw a line in the sand in terms of like whether you really want me to be successful in this, or whether you just want to be like a cheerleader in this, or whether you just want to be on the sidelines and just be there to congratulate me, but not be at like the actual rehearsal. So like I had to draw a line in the sand, especially being in New Jersey. Like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but like there's just a stigma out here that like everybody's for themselves, and like I never wanted to be a part of that stigma. I always wanted to be somebody that uplifts other people. So like for me, like I just want to be able to be that person and be an example to other people and be examples of people that's coming after me, because I know there's got to be more people that's coming after me, because it's not just me that wants to be independent, be in control of their own destiny. There's a lot of other kids that want to do it too but don't know. So I'm not going to be the one that gets through and then closes the gate. I want to keep the gate open for them to come through and follow my footsteps as well.
So and you now eventually wanting to sign new artists, how does that mindset fit with this new generation that you're in?
Well, I have to learn them. But to be honest with you, there was a lot of things that I had to learn. You know, just navigating and like listening to new music and listening to different artists and understanding why people like certain artists. Like it's like there was some people that I listened to that I didn't even realize that I was gonna like. You know, so what I look for in an artist now is like somebody that you know can arrest the room without having to do much. And somebody that can just like, I'm more so looking for like the artist that can play an instrument, you know what I'm saying? Like and perform at the same time. That's definitely what I'm looking for. Like that's definitely a criteria. They don't have to, but it would definitely be a criteria for me. And I'm just looking for people that like kind of like in an old school kind of way can just like really just like sing, and they know what they want. There's certain artists you don't have to really tell them. They could just be in the room. They're like, "Oh man, that's Whitney Houston. Oh man, that's somebody else." You know what I'm saying? Like Whitney don't got to say much. So
you didn't have to do much, but just
let me set up in the studio 1 second.
So actually, we're gonna take a quick commercial break while he's doing that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, our Instagram page for the Artist Exchange Radio Show, as well as BeExposedRadio.com. And if you're looking for a space to do your show on, please hit us up at info@BeExposedRadio.com. So we're going to take, I don't have any commercial. I'm going to hurt you. So I guess we go just keep it going then. So while Sonny is setting up, can you go to the full screen? Is that possible? So we'll have to see that iPhone on there. But as we are transitioning from, he's kind of setting up his space. But I want you all to once you are in a space of getting ready and you want a show, if you have an idea for a show, hit us up, info@BeExposedRadio.com. It's a great space to start your show and to kind of get your bearings and your sea legs and such. And I think Sonny is back now.
Sure, I'm right here. Man. Woo! And the traffic, man, is different.
It is. Just visiting there the times that I have. I've done a few shows in that New York tri-state area, and when I say I don't see how y'all doing on a regular basis.
I'm telling you, man, it's definitely different, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
it's definitely different, especially when you're driving towards like near the city, because my studio is in Jersey City, so coming from like the suburban area where I live, and then like it's supposed to be a 22-minute drive, but that was at least 45 just now.
Probably longer. Yeah, I don't see how y'all deal with that traffic. LA, New York, and I don't see how y'all. I would go crazy. I have gone crazy.
I've been there about 4 times this year. It's pretty bad. Yeah, man, it's pretty bad.
But I want to know, what are we looking forward to for this latest project from you?
I'm so excited about it, to be honest with you. It's called Bias. It's an abbreviation for Before It All Started, because I want this EP to pretty much be the EP that you listen to that makes you go like, I gotta get with this artist. Something about this artist is the one, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is the one, but like I put in enough work and I put in enough like man hours. Like I probably put the most work into this project than I ever did any other project because I never had this much time. I never had my own studio. I never had my own space to be able to express myself the way that I do in here. So with that being said, I feel like I was able to do my best work. So before it all started, it's basically like the way I feel about life right now. I feel like I'm living the life before the life that I'm destined to live. So like this is before it all started. It's called Bias. So I'm excited about this project because it has a little bit of everything. That's why I sent you the four. That's why I sent you the four songs because the four songs are totally different than each other. None of them sound the same, and that's pretty much the way that the whole album is. Like it's a variation of songs, but it's all like completely me as an artist. You know, so it's dope. It's something that I really enjoy listening to. So I just hope that you enjoy it as much as I enjoy making it.
I did. I said to you, I gave a little remark that, you know, I can't wait to see if there will be some visuals attached to it because they definitely
definitely.
You know, they would definitely open themselves up to some storytelling on a visual side to match up with your lyrics and your music.
Thank you.
And it was a good listening vibe. It was some I can see myself meditating to that. I can see myself just, you know, vibing out, doing some Saturday cleaning to it, just listening to it and feeling the rhythm. I'm a big music person. I like lyrics, but I'm big on music. And you kind of, I like your music because it's very heavy music. And then you kind of layer it with some lyrics. And I saw some collaborations you were doing with people as well.
Definitely. You know my production. I love to add voice. That's like one of my favorite things to do. I like to add voices. So whether it's like a feature or whether it's just like a background vocal, I'll have it higher than the typical artist because I just like the way their vocals sound. Like I'm like as a producer, I think that's my advantage to be like, you know what, I want that vocal to be higher than what it usually is. Like I feel like people don't really hear the backgrounds as much as they should. So like on my music, I try to make sure that it rings out. That way when you listen back to it, you can almost sing the background part yourself.
Right. So we're kind of in a same space. I decided to open up my own art studio as well, just to
get
out of the space. One, because I was in my house doing everything, and I got tired of that. Why now? Why start your own studio now?
Well, to be honest with you, for me, I always I'm like a studio rat the same way like somebody would say like somebody's a gym rat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the same way an athlete can be a gym rat, I'm a studio rat. Like I love being in here. I love being able to make mistakes and, you know, like fix them and be able to like, you know, produce and create like and I used to spend like hundreds. When I say hundreds, I mean like hundreds of dollars, like just for me to be in there. And then there were a lot of studios that I worked in, especially out here in Jersey, where they don't really, and I'm saying this nicely, they don't really respect your time as much as you spend, you know? So like, I felt like I was spending a lot of money. And then like, because of my gifts, you know, because I play guitar really well, they'd be like, yo, why you doing your thing over there? Like, you mind just cutting guitar right here? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that has nothing to do with my session. You know what I mean? And then next thing I know, my 3 hours would be up and I paid $50, $60 an hour. So I'm like, yo, I just spent like going to 80, almost $200 on a session that like I barely got to do anything at. So like, I prayed to God. I'm like, God, if you just give me some time, like that's all I need. I don't need nothing else. I just need a space. And I need time. So like I said, my friend hit me up last year around this time. It was like, hey, I got a studio. He said I'm barely there. Like he said, like we can be roommates. He said we can split the rent. You know what I mean? So I'm like, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been looking for space the whole time, and then he got me to get into the lease, and then like January 1st makes a year that I've been here, and I've been making great music here ever since. Like, and to be honest with you, like it's been a blessing because I've been able to allow this space to make room for me too. I've been able to throw like listen events, and then, you know, I've been doing. It's big enough for me to do like, you know, small rehearsals is big enough for me to record whatever I would really want to record. So like my imagination in here really goes crazy. So like I really enjoy being in the studio. Like not more than I love performing. I do love performing, but it's like a really, really close second.
I know it gives you a level of freedom too, because not only are you not wasting your time with other people, but you have that space, that you can be in there for 24 hours if you needed to, or
I remember one time when I was playing when I played the song. I think I sent it to you, a song called Bittersweet. I was playing like a stripped down version of it. It wasn't the same version that you're listening to today. Like it was a stripped down version of it, and I got to do something I never got to do before. I literally sat down and like I meditated to it to the point that like I woke up. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and I was there since like 5. So I was like, whoa, and I was still listening to it, and it was still hitting the way that I wanted to hit. I'm like, I never got a chance to do that before. I'm like, that was dope, and then that's how I knew that I wanted that sound in particularly, and then I got to build on that sound, and like I said, like there's a lot of layers that I hope that people can hear on this, and whether they do or whether they don't, they'll know that this is a record that somebody worked really hard on, and once they realize like that one person, not one person, but like that person is me, then hopefully they'll recognize me, or whether they don't, like it's something that I recognize as like one of my best works so far.
All right, I'm gonna get into which ones I liked, but in terms of the last couple of years has been heavy for Black theater, film, and TV and such.
Oh yeah.
Are you interested in placing your music? Because a lot of them have had really music-driven production that was associated with it or was scored in it. Are you interested in placing your music?
Like it's funny that you asked that, because like one of my biggest inspirations is Quincy Jones, and I know Quincy Jones is like one of the greatest producers of all time, and I know that although he would produce like a Michael Jackson, like he'll get done doing that album and then score The Color Purple. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to be. I'm not asking for that burden, because I know it wasn't easy on him. I know he had to go through everything he had to go through to be able to maintain that gift. But I definitely want a double portion of that, to be able to do scores and do movies and do commercials and stuff like that, and like be able to place my stuff like maybe on video games, like different media. There's so many different things that you can do with music now that I want to be able to get into this year, definitely. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's good ways to get more streams. It's a good way to get more plays. Like, and it's a good way for people to listen to it, because I know, like, for example, like when I watch Insecure, my phone's always out, because I always want to know what song is playing in the background. She always curates the best songs in her thing. So if I can get like a song like an Insecure, that'd be dope, because I'm like, yeah, because she has like the greatest premise for that. I would definitely look at one of my songs on the radio station, like not a radio station, on a television show. Yeah.
I think it was Bruised, The Harder They Fall, and it was another
Harder They Fall.
It was heavy music driven.
Yeah.
And I see, your music definitely, because you're so heavy musician, I really see it being able to just fit into a lot of the films that's coming out. So I can't wait to see you say my music is in this movie and this TV show and such. When you think about
those people with Grammys, I'm in good company. Then thank God.
But beyond that, just being able to place yourself in places, because music now, especially our music, has always been a part of commercials and ads and film. It's always been used. And now that you're on the ownership side of it heavy, and you're making sure of that, where else do you want to take your music?
Well, to be honest, right now, like I said, like I could sit here and and tell you maybe 1 million or 2 million things that I would want for my music, but it really all depends on how people receive it. So if they receive it in a way that's that they like it and they want me to continue to do it, and then I'll continue to give the people, and my fans, and the people that what they want. But at the same time, I know that I have a gift enough that even if they didn't receive it, I can use my music to be able to, like you said, use it for commercials, use it for video games. But my ultimate goal as an artist, obviously, is to be able to be be an artist that charts, be an artist that's able to be at the same or sit at the same table as other people that's probably signed that have more of a budget than me. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to put them that, like, it really doesn't matter what kind of budget you have, it matters what kind of music you make. So like my goal as an artist is just to be able to show the listener something new. You know what I mean? Like I want to give them more ear candy than they can ever expect. Like I get a kick out of giving them the ear candy that they hear within my music. I really do. I enjoy it more than your average listener because I enjoy listening to myself. Like when I listen to a song, like let's say for example I'm listening to Sade's Sweetest Taboo, and I'm listening to the way them drums go. I'm like, yo, how does she sing over that? Like that is incredible. That's just me. Like, but I want people to listen to my music the same way. Like they were like, yo, them drums, but it's still Sade. You still remember that song, Sweetest Taboo, because you still remember the way she went about the song. So like, you know, it's all about presentation. It's all about, you know, the way you execute your songs. It's all about the way that you feel like you can do it. I feel like my music has no sky to it, but at the same time, it's all about how people receive it.
Are you so? I in this. I really liked your Bittersweet, and I like, I'm going to see the title of it. Love Like This. Those were the two that kind of stuck out to me the most.
Those are the more commercial ones. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say like the other ones are like more, I said those are the more commercial ones. The other ones are more like deep cuts in a sense, but like, yeah, definitely. But like I said, every song in itself tells a story within itself. With Bittersweet is a kind of like a breakup, you know, regret kind of song, and Love Like This is just kind of like, you know, I'm in love and I'm happy kind of song, you know. So it's all about emotion within this album.
And I noticed that in listening to these songs that you sent me, I said because when we talked before, we was in love and we was thinking about love, and now you was giving us the ebbs and flows, the roller coaster of it all.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's not something. It's something that I never wanted to just focus on one thing. I never wanted to just be the love guy. I never just wanted to just be the heartbroken guy. Like, because I feel like that those things those are emotions, and those emotions go away. Like I'm not always gonna feel like that. You know what I mean? Like, and if I do always feel like that, then that's not a mood. That's just my personality. Like, you know what I mean? Like. So if somebody be like, he's in a bad mood and now I'm always like that, that means that's just my personality. And that's just not my personality. So as an artist, I want to show people my versatility. I'm not always sad, but I could be sad. I'm not always happy, but I could be happy. I'm not always like, you know, I'm not always boisterous, but I could be boisterous. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just the way that, you know what I mean? Like if it's Tuesday, then you get whatever I serve on Tuesday, but it's Friday, you'll get what I serve on Friday. Like, but I want to be able to be versatile. I never want to be able to be stuck in a box. I want to be able to do a feature like with anybody from SZA to Jacob Collier or to somebody that does jazz, like Robert Glasper. Like there's so many different influences. I don't think I'll ever be limited to just one thing.
I like that because one of my favorite artists, Toni Braxton, I think she kind of fields herself into that heartbreak music, just like Mary J. Blige really cemented herself into, you know, that depressed kind of broke up music. And then when they try to do stuff outside of that, people love it because they love their voice, but they don't grab hold of it unless they're look like a bad space.
I'm part of the problem because I love me some Sad Mary. You can't I'm part of the problem because when Mary's sad, I'm buying that album, man. Like I promise you. Like ain't nothing.
I think because we hear the music more, whereas though it's happy, upbeat music, we don't really. It's just party time, so we're not really listening.
I can listen to My Life Today and just be like, "Wow, I believe that that this music invokes so many emotions," and that's what music is supposed to do. Like there's certain albums that like for example, Marvin Gaye's "Here My Dear," like you knew he was sad on that album, man. Like you knew he was going through it on that album. You know what I mean? Like and the same thing with What's Going On. You knew that it was a point in time where things were shifting, or like Sam Cooke's "The Change Gonna Come." You could feel it. You can feel it, you know what I mean? Like this is like one of the songs that like you just want to be able to get into. And as a songwriter, like I said, like I know I write R&B and I do R&B because R&B is always gonna have my soul. But as a musician, I never want to be limited to anything. I always want to be able to broaden my horizons and everything. I would love to be able to see for somebody to see a black TV show or a black movie. It doesn't have to be black necessarily, but I would prefer it to be. But like, and they'll see that, and they'll see my name under the score. They'll see my name under executive music producer or something like that. You know what I mean? Or me executive producing somebody else's album, or me producing on somebody else's song, or me going #1 on an album that I didn't sing on, or me going getting the Grammy nomination for Album of the Year, but that I didn't necessarily have to sing on, or I just featured on, or I just produced on. You know, because like, you know, things like that like really matter to me, because the album, think about it, like an Album of the Year, everybody that's on that album gets that Grammy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different ways to get a Grammy or get like recognition in ways that people don't really understand. It's not always about being the best artist. Like I'm saying, like, and because of my gifts, I know that I can be the kind of artist that I want to be, like in terms of my being a producer and being a singer and being a writer. I mean, like Kanye West is proven to us that like there's no limit on what you can do, especially when you're a musician and being an artist, because not a lot of people can do it.
Yeah. So thinking of other genres, country, blues, gospel, what other genres do you want to, jump into?
I would definitely jump into gospel. I would definitely jump into. I write gospel all the time. I still consider myself a gospel musician. No matter how far deep I get into R&B, I'm always going to consider myself a gospel musician, because that's where I started. So definitely gospel. I would definitely get into jazz. I love jazz. I feel like jazz is people don't talk about it enough, but it's a very big derivative of R&B, whether it's today or whether it's like before. Like people don't give jazz enough credit, especially like people like Erykah Badu, who kind of infused the jazz and R&B thing together, and people don't realize it. They just call it VO soul, but in reality, it's jazz and R&B. So, like, jazz. Those
are some of my favorite artists that kind of have that mixture, not only in their sound, but in the music and in their tonality, all that. I love that mixture.
Some of the best artists that even like a Donny Hathaway, like, is a very jazz trained singer. But at the same time, like, because he has the gospel and all the other stuff in him, people call him an R&B singer. But in reality, like, he's very, 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 very jazz trained. He's very same thing like his daughter, like Layla Hathaway, can sing jazz. She can sing jazz, and I met her.
That train whistle alone will.
She can sing her some jazz, but her R&B is incredible. So, like I said, I never want to be limited to just one genre. Like by the end of my career, I want people to just say I was a great artist. I want people to just say I did great R&B. I want people to, like, you know what I'm saying? When I do a verses, I don't want to just do verses with my songs. I want to do verses with songs I did for other people. Like, same way like Jermaine Dupri or Diddy would do. And one of their verses, like, I want to be able to, or like Babyface and Teddy Riley, have their own songs, but at the same time be a part of so many different things. That's my goal as an artist. Like I said, I still have a lot of years to go. I still have a lot of things that I want to do and a lot of things I want to accomplish. But right now, like, this is the beginning of that. That's why I call this album Before It All Started.
I love the freedom that I see artists being able to have now. I'm praying that a lot of the artists that I like tap into that freedom of expression and not feel like they got to be one thing. One of my favorite artists, Fantasia, I just feel like her voice is not being utilized.
She's amazing.
The capacity of it. And we've seen the capacity of it when she's doing tributes to other artists. And I just want our artists today to be able to tap into who we were a little bit more other than sampling, and really take that tone and that sound and just kind of continue the motion of it versus just a little snippet of the sample of it.
Yeah,
I just like,
believe it or not, Fantasia's like one of the. She's one of the artists that I would want to work with, even in 2021. I would love to do a song with Fantasia. I would love to do a song with, like.
You hear that, Fantasia?
Seriously, like, I would love to do a song with Fantasia. I would, like, even if I didn't sing on it, like, I would love to write a song with Fantasia. Like, she's just incredible.
She's gonna shut you down, sir. You're gonna get a couple of hymns and hums.
I'm telling you, I'm like, no, you got that, baby girl, you got it. And I've been blessed to share the stage with her, like with Life Jennings. Life Jennings did a couple shows with her, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and I met her. She's a wonderful person. There's certain people that you meet, like they're not the same as they are, but her aura, like, alone, she was just like a wonderful person. You could just tell, like, it's like, wow, you smell good, like everything about like.
Now, sir. speaking of, touring, have you been able to do any shows or?
Yeah. Well, this year, Life Jennings was able to do a fall tour, and I was able to play on that one, and that was pretty cool. We did a couple shows. The last show that we did was in Louisiana. Was
okay.
Very different, man. Louisiana is different. I'm not saying I ain't never been that far down south, but like they.
No, this Louisiana is different. Is this different?
I was playing in Huntsville, something like that.
Okay.
And I took a plane from Newark to Baton Rouge, and then we drove. So I got to see the countryside a lot. And I was just like, whoa, mm-hmm. I could not have been enslaved today.
But when people think of Louisiana, they just think New Orleans, but they don't know it's a lot of swamp country. A lot of it looks like either Texas or Florida, and then there's a lot of rural areas as well.
Yeah, I saw plantations, and it's funny because like, ironically, they championed Shaq because like fun fact is that Shaq, even though he's from Jersey, he went to the NBA from LSU. So that they still championed. Like before I got to my hotel, my driver was like, "Yo, I'm gonna show you Shaq, the house that Shaq was living." I was like, "Oh snap! You guys really y'all really like Shaq?" He's like, "Yeah, he say all the time, man. He takes pictures. He's a very nice guy." So like it's different. Like no matter where you go, like there's people that champion you. So like I would hope to have that kind of same effect. Like like no matter where I go, because like I've been going to LA a lot. Hopefully like I can continue my music career over there. That's the goal. Hopefully, the next 2 years I'm over there permanently. But it's all up to what God wants. But I've been back and forth to LA a lot, like more than ever. I've been trying to make my connections over there so I can keep my my stamp over there, and hopefully like the next time like we do, maybe not the next. I still want to do a lot more interviews, but the next time we do an interview, next 2 years I'll be in LA.
Okay.
Yeah,
do you see yourself moving there?
Oh yeah, definitely. I like when I do go out there, I go out there for a very long period of time. I don't just go out there for like a day or two or a week, and I make sure I stay out there for at least 2 weeks so I can get a good feel of how it is out there. I'm saying like on my days or my bad days, either way, I just want to be out there just to see if I can survive. Period, because it's kind of like a survival thing. Because like, believe it or not, there's a lot of homeless people in LA. Like there's people that got tents. Like I've seen somebody that like, and this is not a gas, not a joke. He walked out of a Mercedes truck into a tent on Venice Beach. Like, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, God, are you trying to tell me something? Like I couldn't. I was very confused by that. I'm like what? And I asked myself, what's more important to you? What, like being flashy or being able to have a foundation like a house? You know what I'm saying? Like so like
that was a good parable to see.
Yeah.
Was a great parable to see.
Yeah. I saw that, I was like, okay, so I could fail out here. You know what I mean? Like and that realization, because like I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, he could have been like just like me. He could have been like, yo, I'm a musician. I want to pursue dreams in LA, and and then it just didn't work out for him. So like I'm like, yo, so this gives me more motivation for me to give him my all and really use my gifts to my advantage. So so when I get out here, I can stay out here and really belong out here and not have to live through that, and hopefully have my name on that walk of fame that some people sleep on.
And the same thing happens to people in New York, because New York has always been my dream. Like, to live anywhere else in the world other than like maybe Africa, New York has always been the dream. And that same thing happens to people that go there with dreams and no plan.
Say that, but New York is cool. It's just better when you're rich.
Well, but cool compared to LA, it's it may be more spread out, but it's the same struggle. Like, you can go there with all the dreams in the world, but you're going to be sleeping in that tent or in a shoebox.
One thing I like about LA over New York, I would say, I guess, like living in this area is just the weather, man. Because the weather, I can't deny that weather, man. I'm like, yo, because I go there, like, I try to go there for my birthday, like ever since, like, maybe like 2019, I've been going there for my birthday. And it's always like within 60, 70. I'm like, oh yeah, I got every birthday. I make sure I'm in LA. Like, because if I'm here, it's gonna be like in the 30s, man, like in around November. Yeah. So
we get a little delusional up this part of the United States because our weather is so iffy. But when you go somewhere like a New Orleans or LA, you like, okay, this is heat. Okay. Okay,
but you know what's crazy? When I went to Louisiana, it was surprisingly cold. I couldn't believe it. Like I packed like a fool. I'm like, I did not pack for this.
Well, you know, the last couple of years too is the weather's been changing because I'll normally go there for Christmas and it's you could dress with a t-shirt and a little light jacket on, and that's their winter.
But yeah, if you go to places like Houston, Texas, it's like crazy, or Phoenix, it's like stupid hot. You know what I mean? Like like so.
Do you miss the traveling?
Yeah, because I think that's one of the reasons why I went to LA so many times this year, because I missed the travel. I definitely miss traveling on somebody else's dime.
Always.
I definitely miss that, but like I still that's the thing. I'm always still traveling. Like thankfully, like because of the work that I do, because I'm a guitar player, and because I get work, and I've been able to get work throughout this pandemic. I'm still able to travel, like whether it's either tri-state or whether it's like I'm going far. I'm always able to be out the house and be able to do something. I'm considered one of the people that they would want on like one of these big gigs. Like unless I'm playing like New York City, like at this point, because New York City is kind of crazy. New York City, like you got to be like fully vaccinated and a booster shot for you to do anything. I wouldn't even want to be over there right now. If you're not vaccinated, there's not even no point in going. Yeah. And I don't want to like dictate anybody's choice. But I'm just saying, if you choose not to, don't go to New York.
How did you test out the whole virtual? I didn't really see you online as much, but how did you try to do the virtual?
Like I said, like 2020, I was way too like end of the world. Like I can't do this. I ain't with this virtual kind of stuff. Like, cause I'm such a hands-on artist. Like, so for me, it was really like a change. Like even doing this interview via Zoom, like it's different for me. Cause I like being in Baltimore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I rather I'll take the trip. Like, you know, get a hotel and come back. No, you know how I am. You know,
right.
Times have changed, you know. So like it's definitely an adjustment, because I like being able to be moved to move. I can't really stay idle. That's why like staying idle as much as I did last year kind of depressed me. That's why I made sure this year I traveled as much as I could travel. Like even if it wasn't like as lucrative as it was before, I would still take the opportunity to travel anytime I possibly can, even if it's whether it's on my dollar or whether it's on the artist dollar. Luckily, like I said, like Janice came back and went back on tour, so I was able to see a lot more of the world this year again. So like, and next year, like he's gonna do a lot more shows. And you know, I got you on the ticket, whatever's in your area, I got you.
I mean, love it, but I also want to come see you, sir. I need to come and see. I'm waiting for your tour, and
yeah, exactly.
I hear you're planning your tour.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's gonna be a little different though. Like, what I'm trying to do is like what I didn't do before, because like pre-COVID, I hit New York a lot. And now I want to do the opposite. I really want to hit Jersey. There's a lot of venues that I didn't realize were as good as they were. You know, to be honest with you, like I was just like at a loss for words for like some of these venues. Like, there's a spot called Laundromat. Like, it's literally a laundromat, but at night they make it a speakeasy. So like, you know what I mean? So like they have like the whole sound thing set up. I'm like, it would be dope for me to perform at a venue like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's certain, I want to start a tour like at like kind of like these secret locations that people don't necessarily know yet, and kind of make it popular based on like my performances and stuff like that. Like not just in Jersey, but like in a lot of places, like, and kind of build my rapport up. There's a couple of people that I've been talking to that promote tours that help people out. Like I remember like they was telling me how Juice WRLD, God bless his soul, they said at one point he couldn't even get like 500 people to a show. And then they was promoting him up until the point that he got like 3,000 people at a show. So, you know, they really kind of work with you. There's different companies. If you got the juice, they'll give it to you.
It's slowly, like, we have a couple venues like that here now, and I'll give you some of those names because they're starting to be a venue.
I still want to hit soundstage. I'm old. I'm going to hit that soundstage. I promise. I ain't give up that promise. I'm gonna hit that soundstage before anyone else. Okay. Man, it's gonna be so done. I promise.
I hear you. Space and opportunity.
I seen Brent Fires and her. They did soundstage and it was sold out. I'm like, oh man, they tempted me. Lord.
I mean, they started and it's starting back up. So people are starting to, they got that same eagerness to get out and see something.
Yeah.
So a lot of those venues are starting to be at full capacity again.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, like I said, it depends on where you go because, like I said, like the places that I hit with life, they didn't even ask me about no vaccination, nothing like that. Not to snitch on nobody, but just like it wasn't even.
Well, it's like that. Like for me as a theater artist, I had to buckle down and just do it because I couldn't get into auditions. I couldn't get into.
I'm a working musician too, man. So like I said, I can't play in New York without being vaccinated. So I kind of had to like make that choice for myself. I'm like, I'm either gonna eat or I'm not gonna eat. I can't just boycott a whole state, like especially with all the venues I did. I did Behando's Lounge over there. I did Delancey. I did what you call it? There's a couple of venues I did over there that don't even exist anymore. Like BB King, it's not even a BB King's anymore. Because
is it closed down?
The BB Kings in Times Square is closed down.
Are you serious?
It closed down before COVID. So now Sony Hall, where I brought you to for I don't know if you went to that one. It was the Life Jennings show that we did out there at Sony Hall. That's the new BB Kings. And that's the place where people really go if you want to get like a good 3,000 to 5,000 people, to do a show.
Wow, that BB Kings used to be
packed. What? I did that.
But you have to understand, a lot of them people took those PPP loans and just closed down.
Yeah, but now this is before though. The problem was they rose the property tax on BB Kings because they were selling out every night. There wasn't no show that they did it with that wasn't sold out. They just rose the property tax so high that nobody who can afford it. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, we can sell out every night and not be able to afford this. That's a sad thing.
Yeah. That sounds like a setup too. That sounds like a setup.
That's gentrification, definitely. So whatever they do is it, God bless them, but I know it's gonna be cursed.
Right. It's always good for those venues to own their property because I've seen a lot of restaurants and venues be shut down for that same reason. When people are ready to move you out, they start upping the price of things that you need or you have to use in order to get you out. But
and it was sad because, like I said, that's one of my favorite venues. I met a lot of people over there. I met, like, as for example, I like opening up for Ari Lennox, who's a superstar right now.
Right.
Like I met Life Jennings, like opening up for her. And then, as I opened up for Ari Lennox, like I met Romario Weber, who's Life Jennings' manager. He put me on that gig. So like I Kings for so many different reasons, especially from a kid from the New York, New Jersey area. Like, we love BB Kings. Like, it was our dream to play there. So that I hope that my kids can have a venue that they can be like, yo, my pops played there for sure. Like hopefully Sony Hall is still around, or if it's still Sony, it might be Crypto Hall by then.
Exactly. Bitcoin
Hall.
But as we never have enough time, and we're definitely gonna do this again soon.
Oh yeah, please.
Where can we find you at on social media? Where can we find your music? And where will your tour be listed in terms of where you're gonna be, where people can see you at soon?
Well, first things first. My Instagram, my first Instagram was hacked. So like, I just want to let everybody know that, like, because I had like almost up to 5,000.
And we have it on the screen actually.
And they got me, but my Instagram is Sonny Dumarsais, SONNYDUMARAS_. That's my only page. And I say it on the bio. It says this is my only page. Like until I get verified, that's my only page. And then I'm on Twitter as well, Sonny Dumarsais. That's my page. I'm on Facebook as well, same thing, Sonny Dumarsais, SONNYDUMARS. My project is coming out top of the year on the 14th, January 14th, 2022. It's crazy. Like, it's like December's over. Like, it's so deep.
Yeah.
Next week is
Christmas. Is next, right? Yeah. Christmas is next week.
Wow. Yeah. Christmas is next week. I definitely plan to tour with this thing, man. But I kind of just want to sit back in a sense, like for at least 2 weeks, and just kind of like see how people receive this, and then like do an unplugged in my studio, do an in studio unplugged, and kind of like bring this thing to life and then start doing the visuals and then like move it on. I want this. I'm not saying I want it to be a slow burn, but I know it's going to be a slow burn. So since it's going to be a slow burn, I'm gonna take it gradually like that. So by the time summertime hits, it's gonna feel like it's a totally new album, even though it's not.
Okay.
So like, and then by then I have new singles. You know what I'm saying? It's like to even come with that. So like, you know, I have a lot of music coming. Like, you know, like after this album, and I'm excited about because, like I said, I have the space, I have the time. I have music for other artists that's coming. I have music for myself. Obviously, I have music for commercials that I want to do. I just have music for everything at this point, and I'm happy that like I'm finally at the helms of my own studio, and hopefully I can be the Kanye to R&B, because like that's the goal, man. Like not I don't want to go crazy like Kanye. I'm gonna keep my woman black, but
this man right here, too much. But I get it. I definitely get it. It's been, you know, great catching up with you, and I definitely have been, you know, seeing what's going on, what's happening, what's you know, when do we have something else to go see? And I'm really impressed.
I would definitely say the first show that I'm gonna do is definitely gonna be in Jersey. That's okay. Definitely. I don't think I'm gonna do it in New York only because of the not because I want people to be vaccinated, but at the same time the people that are not, I don't want them to feel excluded, you know, in the situation. So like if you could just come with your mask and like proof of like you know what I'm saying, like a COVID thing of like a negative test, then we good. You know, I don't want to force that on anybody. Like, I mean, like just because I did, because this person did on me, you got to do it. It's just like, you know what I'm saying, whatever's best for you and your family. That's what I always tell people. Like, whatever's best for you and your family, you do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But my first show is definitely gonna be in Jersey. Hopefully, when things open back up, I could do New York again, and then I definitely want to come to Baltimore. That's definitely on my hit list. DC, of course. DC, I love DC. I'm planning a couple shows in LA. That's definitely like the move. I wanna like I said, I want to move out there very soon. So like that, I want to set a lot of things up in LA. I have a studio here. Hopefully I can set up a studio in LA as well, so I can go back and forth, you know. And then after the back and forth, you know what I'm saying, I just permanently stay in LA. The EP is called Bias. It's definitely longer. It's definitely album length, but it's definitely EP. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna call it an album until they pay me, remember?
Right. But, He's learning.
Well, other than that, man, everything's been good, and I'm happy to hear from you too, Nate. Man, I'm glad that your show's going well. You're looking great, man. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait.
I'm trying. It's hard out here.
Too. I love the beard, man.
It's hard out here. This is just, you gotta, you know, cut back on some things so you can do the other things you want to do. But I'm really happy for you. I'm really glad to see you pushing and persevering and just making it happen, because it's not easy out here when you're doing it by yourself. So just keep it moving, and you always have a fan, a follower, a supporter. Anytime you come to Baltimore, you know I'm not afraid to travel. So just let me know.
Oh yeah, I'm in there. You already know. The next time I'm coming to Boston, I'm coming to see you.
All right. I'm holding you to that.
Yes, sir. I'm a man of my word.
We're gonna work on that event that you want to do with that.
Definitely. I got sound stage. I'm coming.
There you go. This has been another edition of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Definitely follow this man. His Instagram is on the bottom of the screen as well. Go out, support him. His music coming up. He already has music that you can go out there and get. So go out there and get that music. Keep the ratings up, and just follow him on his social media. He's very interactive and will show you the truth. He shows his music and not just photo shoots of his himself.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. It's always about music.
But keep it moving, and much blessings to you, sir. And just get it in. Just rock out these last couple of days of this year and move it into the new year.
I'm gonna finish mixing this record and then get out of here.
All right. So everybody, don't forget, this weekend we'll be at the Garage, right on Lafayette and Charles Street, for the Black Mall exhibition. I'll have all this wonderful jewelry on display, and tomorrow we'll be doing some lives throughout tomorrow as well, to mark the first of the many conversations, community conversations with You Thought I Was Him project. So definitely look forward to that. If we're still open up until Christmas Eve, 1734 Maryland Avenue.
Send me a bracelet.
Send me your info and I'll send you one. Again, last but not least, BeExposedRadio.com, my home for many years on this station. But definitely hit us up at info at BeExposed Radio if you're interested in advertising with the Artist Exchange Radio Show, or if you're looking to have a home or bring your show to BeExposedRadio.com. Again, that's info at BeExposedRadio.com. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy your holiday. Don't drink too much eggnog.
I love eggnog.
All right, man. See ya.